So tell me why you don't leave your house.
Well, Juliet, we had a great example of 30 minutes ago. That was crazy.
Tell me what happened.
I live in Hollywood, like in like the tourist area, and it's really concerning that I live there. But I walked into me and Juliet are driving here, and I said, "Can you just pull over real quick? I really want to run into this cafe and grab like an iced tea or like a coffee or something." She's like, yeah. So she like stops, and I walk in, and when I walk in, I think it's mostly tourists in there.
Yeah, it is.
They all just turn to me and stare. I'm like, oh my God. Okay, maybe this is just what. Okay, sure. So I just like order my coffee. Everyone's still staring. I'm not dressed weird today.
No,
sometimes
you're not.
I dress weird, but I'm dressed
very
normal, not scary looking or anything. So I don't know what was going on. And then I'm so glad you got to witness it because I like leave and I'm like, Juliet, look at these people. And there's a window. You can see all the people in the window looking out because they're like sitting, staring at the street. And there's a family that looks like they're maybe from like Denmark
or something,
or somewhere from somewhere else.
Yeah,
and
from somewhere else.
And they are laughing and staring at me intensely. And I think they thought we kind of were brainstorming like, what could that have been? Like, what were they laughing at? Like, but I'm so happy you got to witness it, so I didn't seem crazy. Me and Juliet came up with a theory that the daughter was a new lesbian, like a young lesbian. New. And maybe they saw us pull up and like have never seen like lesbians in the wild. Maybe that was. All. But also maybe it has nothing to do with the lesbian thing.
I don't know, but it was undeniable. They were hardcore staring at you
and laughing. Like I'm just carrying coffees.
I was ready to tell you, Alyssa, you're being paranoid, and then I looked over at this family and they were staring at you and pointing and laughing.
Yeah, thank God.
I was like, oh my God.
Thank God you got to witness that. Yeah.
Also, you're the type of person, weird shit happens whenever I go out with you.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know what that is. I don't know what type of energy you attract, but the weirdest things always happen whenever I'm with you.
Yes. And living in Hollywood just elevates that. I think we were somewhere and some man with just a million Barbie dolls taped to his car like pulls up and is just like he like waves at us and then leaves, and it's like you can't like it was just so crazy.
I don't know what that is.
It's not really dark. It's just bizarre.
Not dark. It's bizarre.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would you consider yourself a creative?
Through and through.
I would consider you that as well. An artist through and through. Probably one of the most talented people I've ever met.
That's so nice. Thank you.
It's true. I'm not just blowing smoke up your ass.
Well, I appreciate that a lot. Yeah. I'm like all right brain. I think like negative left brained. Like there's no analytical skills.
Imbalance in your brain.
No analytical skills, no logic, but I do identify with the creative path. Yeah.
So what ignited your passion for creativity and artistry?
I mean, it was just something that was like maybe I was wired for naturally. I think most creatives are like that, where you're just like born that way, you know? Mm-hmm. Like growing up, I think playing make-believe and like being imaginative and creating was a really, really good way to escape and like get through the day. I think my family always knew that. Like they yanked me out of school even because they were like, this is no good for her. You know, like they put me straight into like the athletic stuff and the arts and all of that. And like, it's always been something that I believe like felt like most natural to me, but also like most hard at the same time, if that makes sense. Art is like this endless well of things to know, and it's so mysterious. There's no factual anything about it, right? Like there's nothing scientific. It's just this endless well of honestly confusion and mystery. And I think that's what's so cool about it is I'm never bored. There's always things to learn and know, and I'm always confused, but it also comes naturally to me to like enjoy that confusion and that uncertainty, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
When did you get into acting?
I got into acting, when I was a kid, I was in plays and stuff like that. And then I was an athlete, and after high school, I didn't really know what to do because I didn't want to go to regular school. I met an acting coach my senior year of high school. She's like a classic like New York acting coach. She would like smoke like 8 cigarettes per.
So chic.
Yeah. She'd be like, "Come on, kid, I'm gonna take you to New York and like show you about the theater." And like she took me. That was a horrible accent, but she took me to New York and kind of like showed me, you know, what life could be like in a different path that no one in my family had ever taken. So it was like new for me to be opened up to this whole world. And then I got back to senior year and was not in school, didn't know what I was doing, just like working odd jobs. And then I saw like an audition for like Disney, and I ended up getting put on the stages out in Orlando. And then that's just like, I never looked back. So I was like doing the theatrical thing or like theater thing in Orlando. And then I guess 2.5 years after I was in Orlando, I just made the move to LA. That was it.
How has LA treated you so far?
Honestly, amazing. I mean, look, I love LA. It's so funny because I actually did have a path set up for me in New York, right? Like I could have done the move to New York. I have a cousin that's a really successful playwright out there, and I had my acting coach that I met senior year, and like I could have done the move there and probably had it easier. I would have had some like structure and people around me that I knew, but something in me when I guess I would have been 19. I don't know why. I'd never been to LA in my life. I didn't know anyone here, not a soul, no connections, no nothing. I was just being pulled here. I think a couple years in, I realized very quickly that I was being pulled here for so many other reasons, just other than just career stuff. Mm-hmm. Like I had so much to figure out about myself, and LA has like helped me with that. There's been ups and downs for sure. It's been dark at times, but it's treated me the way it was supposed to, which is like it brought me out of my shell. It made me come into myself. It threw me through the ringer. Is that how you say it? Threw me through the ringer. Chewed me up, spat me out, you know, whatever, smacked me around a little bit. But yeah, I think I was supposed to end up here. I think this was where I was supposed to be. So
I think it's because your story has already been told.
Yeah.
And there's a version of you that already exists within the city or the place that you're being called to.
It's really weird. Astrologically, like if you look into your chart, it will tell you where you actually are, your soul is supposed to go, and like where you will find love, where you will find career success, like where you will thrive the most. And a lot of people are actually in the wrong locations, or they're being pulled to a location, but they haven't followed it yet. It's like, I don't know if anyone believes in that. I looked it up later on, like recently, like as of this year, and it all aligned in LA, and there's a couple other places, but
interesting.
They didn't align in New York. And it's weird because when I was young, like I said, I had connections in New York. I definitely could have done that route, but something in me just wanted to have it harder and know nobody. And because I was being pulled here for other reasons to like figure things out. So
what do you think that experience gave you?
I think LA has a way of humbling you, especially as a creative. Yeah. Because not to say I was like thinking I was the best or whatever, but when you come from a small town, you kind of, especially when you're just an artist through and through, you think, oh, I'm going to get out there and I'm going to do things.
Yeah.
And then the doors are like 80 feet tall and there's a lock and a cage around it, and there's gatekeepers and there's exploiters and there's all kinds of things going on out
castle.
Here. Yeah, like it's very difficult. There's dragons and gargoyles. And, yeah. Like it is really, it's really interesting. You really think, okay, I'm a creative, so I'm going to do well in a creative city, and I'm going to get out there, and it's going to be great for me, and I'm probably going to struggle a little bit, but it's going to be great. I mean, I've been out here for almost a decade. Like things just now in the last several years started to get good.
Wait, have you heard LA's a 10-year town?
I have.
Yeah.
And it's so real. And I've watched people move here and go home. And I think it's just the people that, stick it out that really, I mean, I think there's certain circumstances where people do move here and things just happen for them right away. But that wasn't my circumstance. I got here, I moved here with nothing to my name. I moved here, I lived with 2 girls in a studio apartment. I showed up here with a suitcase and walked down Sunset Boulevard looking for a job. Started waiting tables and going to acting school, and then after acting school, nothing happened. I mean, I worked for 2 years just to get into the Screen Actors Guild, just to get invited into the union was an insane experience. So I worked hard just to get into that, and then the world shut down. Then we had COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was a rough time out here, but that's what was so. I think to answer your question, that's what's so special about the city is it really humbles you, but it also like. That character development that you might need, or that cultural development, like that culture shock, all those things, they come into play with like an artistic journey out here. And like now I have so much to pull from, like as a writer, as an actor, it all makes sense now.
Director in general. You can't put a price on grit.
Well said. Yeah, that's what I should have answered with. Yeah. It gives you some grit. I mean,
it gives you grit.
I thought I was worldly when I showed up here, but then I quickly realized I had seen nothing. I didn't know shit. And that's, to me, like going back to what I was talking about earlier, is like that's what's so interesting to me about the journey, though, is like I like that. I like being surprised. I like constantly being proven wrong, constantly being humbled. Like, it's interesting to me.
You're
it's
also
addicting.
an open person. I really like that about you. You're kind of willing to experience anything and anything the world throws at you.
That is true.
That is true. Well, like I said before, you can't put a price on grit. I could sit here and go on and on about how that's the thing that's going to make you successful.
Yeah.
And I believe that is true. I think your success will take you farther if you do have that grit. Yes, there are some people that get handed everything.
Yeah.
You could look at those people and envy them. I don't.
I
would much rather earn my keep. But I know that I grew up very privileged. I grew up in LA, 2 parents, middle class. That being said, life hit me hard in my 20s.
Yeah.
I had a very easy childhood for the most part. My parents weren't perfect, but no parents are. Life kicked me in the ass in my 20s. And I went through the epitome of an ego death. And thank fucking God I did. I wouldn't have the wherewithal to do something like this.
Yeah, I think it doesn't matter where you come from, that ego death is the good shit.
Yes.
And I think that's what my, like, not to be cringe, but like that's what my soul was wanting, was like it needed
death.
like an ego death. And even with the COVID situation, when the world shut down, it's like I just gotten settled, I just got everything figured out, and then the world just stops. Like it's just like apocalyptic out here. Everyone's locked in their apartments, and like I just did like hella shrooms for 2 years. And like I swear to God, I woke up and like learned. I had so many. I think this generation had a unique experience with like isolation.
Yes.
That we really got to get real with who we were and like our shadows and our weird shit that we weren't looking at when the world was busy. So in a way, it's like it's all very interesting how that all worked out, because I came out of COVID just like so different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people did. But I also think that you're talking about people who are self-aware in general. I think people who are willing to explore the darker aspects of themselves are willing to go in and look at that shadow and stare it in the face.
Totally.
It took me a very long time to be able to do that. I still struggle with looking at that darker side of myself and inviting it in.
Well, and what's interesting about like the human experience is you'll always find more shadows to look at, you know, just when you deal with one, you inherit another. But that's what's cool. It's like, and I do think that just like life in the city, it like elevates that experience a bit.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It does. But I have also related to people who are willing to look at that side of themselves.
Yeah, because there's also a very shallow culture out here as well that you have to dodge.
Out here, yes.
Yeah.
But you and I just went on this dating show.
Yeah.
Transparently, I was extremely uncomfortable the entire time. And the first thing I said when I sat down, this is how nervous I was. The first thing that came out of my mouth was, I'm an alien.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I relate to people who feel the same way about themselves.
Yeah. I completely understand. I think there's definitely groups of people in Los Angeles that I have almost gotten wrapped up in or completely indulged and lost myself in for moments in time. You really have to be so self-aware and constantly be checking yourself. Like, does this group of people align with my morals, my values? Because it's so easy. I mean, part of the journey out here too, it's humbling to think I'll never lose myself. I know what I moved here to do. I'll never get distracted. I'll never get sidetracked. I'll just get out there and I'll be so motivated the whole time. No,
that's naive.
No. Yeah, that was one of the most humbling parts of it is I got so lost multiple times and I'll probably get lost again. But having that inner compass of like being able to like check yourself and realize, you know, in the most non-pretentious way possible, it's okay to admit that you're too good for some spaces.
Yeah.
And not too good in a way that's like I'm better than you, but too good in a way that's like my morals and values don't match up with these morals and values. Or my energy is like worth more than this experience because there's a lot of really like negative, dark stuff going on out here in the same way that there's a lot of like really beautiful stuff going on out here. The theme of 2026 for me, because I hate talking about my age publicly, but I'm going to be 30. So everything's kind of coming to fruition. Like everything's coming into the light. And in 2026, I just feel like I really started to look around at like the people that I've had in my life and the people that I've been pouring into, and I'm checking everyone. I'm checking all my friends, checking myself, and I've just been cutting people off left and right because unfortunately, that is so true. You really are who you surround yourself with.
You are who you surround yourself with. Yes.
You are. And unfortunately too, even if those people are not necessarily bad people, but if they hate themselves, if they're miserable, if they're negative, if they're just, drinking and doing drugs all the time, unfortunately, that is going to bleed into your life, whether you think it will or not, whether you think no, it's not going to affect me or not. It does affect you. And, I've had to cut off some really close friends to me just because, again, morals and values stopped aligning, growing apart, or the self-hatred and the misery. It's like a lot of those people, they want you to be miserable with them, or they want you to be mean with them, or they want you to
I've noticed that.
Yeah, there's a lot of it's just these groups of people, they morph into one another. And as an artist and as a creative or as any type of independent entrepreneur, you have to remember that unfortunately at times this is a solo path.
It is a solo path. It's extremely lonely.
Yeah.
You could have people close to you that are on the same pursuit or doing something similar.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it's still your journey, and everyone's journey is so individual to them. When you're pursuing something really big, it's fucking lonely.
It's lonely.
It is.
And that's a hard pill to swallow because you have to really wonder, like, what am I willing to sacrifice, like certain connections? Am I willing to sacrifice even relationships? That's been
for something
huge,
you don't know if is going to work or not.
It's a huge thing for me. And like, I've gotten lost in it before, but I moved out here with nothing, struggled to get where I am, and I'm not going to lose it now. It's like the curse and the blessing of being an artist, because being an artist is so amazing, or being an independent entrepreneur, or whatever you are, like being passionate about something and knowing that you have to do that thing, carry that thing out. It's like,
it's a soul's purpose. It's bigger than yourself.
It is. And if you betray that, I fear that I'll wake up and be angry at the people I'm around or whoever I'm with, and I never want to be that kind of partner. So I so much of my journey out here has just been about myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like at the end of the day, like,
but that's who you're left with at the end of the day.
Yeah.
All you have is you. All you really have to rely on is you.
Right.
You're the only person that's going to get you from point A to point B. That's
exactly.
it.
And not to say, I'll drop anything for a friend that needs me in the middle of the night. I'll be there. I'll sacrifice. I'll show up. But when those relationships stop pouring as well, and they're just draining and taking, or you're just absorbing all of the negativity from them, it's a solo path.
Yeah, it is.
And you just say, all right, good luck to you. No weirdness, no whatever, but like, see you on the other side.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, that's not to say you can't be a good friend or you can't be a good family member, you can't show up.
Right.
But ultimately, the person you rely on, the only person you can rely on is you.
Yeah.
Because I've been in situations where I've shown up for people and then I needed something from them and they didn't show up.
Right.
And I had to take that into consideration.
For sure.
Well, you mentioned this earlier and I wanted to circle back on it.
Yeah.
But you said in the least egotistical way, you deserve better.
Yeah.
You really do deserve better.
Yeah.
Your energy deserves better, especially when you're pursuing something, again, that's bigger than yourself. It's so important to keep that at the crux of your existence.
Yeah.
Because it is easy to get caught up in this group, that group, and the gossip and
especially in the lesbian community. It's really tough.
It's really difficult. I think you and I have a similar story, but correct me if I'm wrong.
We do.
I was really bullied as a kid.
Yeah.
I mean, shoved into lockers, locked in lockers. It was
so horrible.
It was so horrible.
That.
It was like high school, like just a high school movie.
Yeah.
And then obviously the mean girls, because teenage girls are horrible and awful.
Yeah.
I had that wound of I just want to fit in. Mm-hmm. So when I got into my 20s and I came out and I started going out in LA, and the quote unquote cool lesbians thought that I was cool too and wanted me to be a part of their group, I ate it up.
Yep.
That little child within me was like, oh my God, I'm finally accepted.
I relate so hard.
Yes.
It was the first girl group that I felt truly accepted into.
Yes.
Because I finally found my people. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I felt really accepted. And then you get deeper into it and you start to realize the darkness and their own traumas and how that bleeds onto you, like you said. Oh, maybe this isn't the group, or this isn't what I thought it was, because it doesn't align with your morals and it doesn't align with your goals.
Yeah. I think groups of women together in general are terrifying. And then
I do too. Lesbian parties
and
scare
then
me.
when you add a lesbian layer on top of that, and they're all in love with each other, or they're fucking each other, or they have fucked each other, it just turns into a circus from hell. It can be very exciting and very funny. And then it's not one day. And then it's just not. You know, when you're new to it and you're like, wow, I'm in this cool group and I'm finally like a part of the, you know, whatever. And then it's just not. And then one day you go, oh no, where has the year gone?
Or when did I start acting like another person? That's when I had to step out.
Yeah.
Or take a big step back when I realized that I wasn't acting like myself. I'm not a mean girl. I hold that through and through. I refuse to be.
I feel the same way. I always start a sentence like this, but as a queer community, you spend your whole life in these like little boxes that you have to get shoved into, or you spend your whole life wanting to feel accepted and not judged, and just you want to be able to express freely and liberate yourself and just be accepted and be around people that just think everything is awesome because we're just like loving each other and we swallow all of it, you know, because that's just a person has layers and we might surprise each other. We might have all these different things going on. And it's like you get into this community and you think that it's going to be this warm blanket of like acceptance because that's what the queer community stands for at its core. It does. There are those groups. But and then when it's not, it's like it's devastating for a queer person that's newly out or newly accepted into a group. It's devastating. It's heartbreaking for that person because you create this world in your head where, wow, well, this is going to be the group that does accept me. And then when they don't, it's so interesting.
It's devastating too.
You know, but I guess it's the human experience. I think people are people. Doesn't matter your sexuality. They're going to suck no matter what.
Yes.
But it's a hard pill to swallow for sure.
This goes back to what I was saying before, which is ultimately the only person you can rely on is yourself.
Yeah.
And that might sound sad, but it's also very liberating if you think about it, because then you can take the pressure off of your dynamics, your friendships or your romantic relationships, and you can just enjoy them for what they are. Enjoy them in the present moment.
Yeah.
Something that I've had to learn, which is a huge lesson for me right now, speaking of spirituality and all of that lingo, but mid-Saturn return, detachment. That's a huge thing for me because I attach on to people, especially people that I believe see me and see my soul and I see theirs. Because again, this goes back to me thinking that I'm an alien because I think I am. And I've never really quite fit in. But I love being around other people that never felt like they fit in.
Yeah.
So I
for sure.
the outcasts.
Yeah.
So I attach myself very hard to people that I relate to. But I have to realize that even those relationships, everything is impermanent. Everything is going to end at some point.
Yeah.
And I have to be okay with it. When you can let go, you can really enjoy those people for who they are and what they bring to your life.
100%. Just getting rid of, in general, just releasing expectations. And that's something that I feel like I guess I did come here skilled in, is just the art of just letting things come and go.
Yeah, that does come natural to you.
It does.
It doesn't for me.
Well, I don't know if it's like an artist thing, maybe, you know, because you're just like, all right, I'm prepared to be surprised at all times and I'm ready for that. And I'm not surprised by the surprise of it, you know?
There's a lot of rejection in your industry.
Oh my
too.
God, constant. Yeah. I mean, it's like the most toxic relationship you'll ever be in if you were trying to be an actor or director or writer, anything in that industry. Oh my God, it's a constant up and down. It's a constant leading you on and then a no. Last year, I spent 6 months back and forth with a film in the process of being cast. Like I was, you know, from 10,000 submissions narrowed down to like, okay, I'm down in the top. I got asked to tape. That's a cool thing. Cool, whatever. I'm not really attached to that yet. Then I get asked to send in an audition. Then they call me into a callback. Then they call me in for another callback. Then they call me in for a director's meeting. Then they do a screen test. Then they have more meetings. Then I don't hear from them for 2 months. Then we do another meeting. Then they tell me we're going a different direction with the role. And it's like, oh, okay. You know, great. Yeah. So, but again, the art of detachment, that kind of stuff, it gives you this like thick skin to just be like, yeah, things come and go. I don't really care. It is what it is. And like what's meant for me will be here when it's supposed to be here, you know?
Yeah.
But as for like really cool connection and intimacy, like recently, something that really helped me was because I was in this kind of process of like cutting people off this year and just like really checking myself and my friends and who I was keeping in my close orbit, you know, I switched up everything. And that really helped. Like you can quantum leap out of any situation that you're in and just go to something else. And I thought, you know, what have I not done in a while that I really miss? Because the industry can just be so cold and lonely sometimes. And I thought I missed the theater. I auditioned for like a Shakespeare play for Fringe and I started doing that and we did it like a run all summer and I've just been hanging out with those people now. And it's really refreshed my energy because it's cool to switch up your groups and remember like, oh, there are other worlds that I can go to here. That's what is cool about this city is like if one little world sucks, there's like 8 million other ones that you can find.
Yes.
So I've found like friendship and connection in that world and like I've been hanging out with more people like that and I've kind of distanced myself from the lesbian community. Yeah.
You actually just sparked something that I wanted to touch on. It's easy, and I'm privy to this, I still do this. It's easy when you're queer to come out to a city like LA or New York or any city with a scene, dive into that and have that be your only world. It's very easy to do that. Mm-hmm. And again, I'm speaking from experience, so it's no shade. I still do it sometimes. And I have to remember, oh, wait, I'm not just gay. I have other passions.
That part.
I am not just this thing. I actually posted a video recently where I talked about people making being gay their entire personality.
Ugh.
And I got a lot
of hate
comments. Yeah. I got so many hate comments.
No, but I would like that part. That's so real.
Yeah, but it's real because you are so much more than just being queer. That's not the most interesting thing about you. It isn't.
No.
It's probably the least interesting thing about me. I have so many other passions. You have so many other passions.
Yeah.
There's so many other things that we can do and different people that we can meet, people that we can surround ourselves with.
Totally.
That will spark creativity. Like I'm big into entrepreneurship.
Mm-hmm.
I love going to summits and networking events where I can speak to other people in the podcasting world or other people who are trying to pursue a small business.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated by that. That has nothing to do with my queerness.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's a box that I can easily fall back into because it's comfortable.
Yes.
It's less comfortable to put yourself out there.
I found myself settling into queer circles and saying no to circles that would have actually like been beneficial for me career-wise. Like I would say no to things that really were good opportunities just to go to like a lesbian event. That was when I started checking myself. I mean, and look, like queer community, it is interesting. It is important. It's beautiful.
Too.
But once you kind of really come into your queerness and you settle into that, you don't really need to prove it. No. You don't need to prove anything. Everything I do is going to be queer because I'm queer. So I don't need to go do all of these things to make myself feel more queer. I can now... Like I'm so comfortable in it now that it's just growth and, you know, you have to take your time and evolve organically, but it's cool to grow into that and say, oh, I don't have to go and be a part of all of this. It does become a bit of like a high school, like fear of missing out group.
Yeah,
like,
it does.
I would get FOMO.
I would too.
Yeah.
Less so now, but even still sometimes I'm,
once in a while it still hits me. I'm like, ooh, I should be there because what if this happens or what if she goes or what if this person's there?
Yes.
You know, it's like, oh my God, it's like so toxic, but it is just, I think it's just the way it is. I don't know. But it is very empowering to realize that you can leave this world and go into the other ones that make you who you are. You're not just that.
Yeah, you're not just this one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you're so right, because once you settle into that queerness, I know I've spent a lot of time trying to accept who that person is.
There's
like who I am.
So much shame that you deal with before you officially like come out. And then once you do come out, people don't really realize that you're going to have to like come out again and again and again in different ways. You know, you admit you're queer. Great. You finally accept that. You stop denying it. The shame kind of fades away, but then you have to figure out what that looks like for you. What kind of queer are you and how do you express yourself in your queerness? I mean, there's just so many layers. And for those that are seasoned queers, I'm sure you understand what I'm talking about. Yeah, then there just comes this point of like, okay, I'm just a human being.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it is kind of full circle because you were talking about this recently and I couldn't relate more. You always say fuck a box.
Yeah.
I couldn't relate to that more now.
Yeah.
When I first came out, I needed that box.
Sure.
And there's still a couple of labels that make me feel very safe that I hold near and dear, like lesbian. That's a label that means a lot to me.
I love that. Yeah.
But every
Same.
other,
Yeah.
like masc, femme, stud, butch, whatever, there's so many different labels that we use in our community. And I get why people need those labels, but don't try to put it on me.
I know,
You
I'm
said
like-
it best. I might be masc, sure, but people thinking I'm masc has also shoved me into a box that has really hurt me before because I'm still just a girl. It's funny, I'm just a girl. But
Yeah.
it's true. Like, I am just a woman at the end of the day. And I want to be treated as such. I don't want to have to act like a man.
Yeah.
Just because I look a certain
Right.
way.
I wonder if there's a better way to go about. I understand that people need labels to explain themselves, and it does help, you know, when some dude is hitting on you at a bar, it's nice to be like, I'm a lesbian. Do you know what that means?
Yes.
Great. That's where a label is really good.
Yeah.
You know, or, oh, when someone asks you, what's your type? Oh, I like more feminine energy. Like, personally, like, I prefer feminine energy. Great. Someone knows what that means. And there's, that just is an endless well of like, there are things that make life easier. And I understand that people really need a label. I think what I was trying to explain on the other podcast when I was talking about it was like, there is a way though to go about it where, sure, it's language, it's adjectives, it's nouns, it's ways to explain yourself. But it should not be a tight little box that someone needs to fit into and then cannot come out of. And when they do come out of it, where they get either confused, laughed at, questioned, made fun of. I've noticed that a lot in the industry with actors and musicians. There are people that say they're one thing and then the next day they're something else because that's the human experience. People change every day. Just like seasons, just like everything else, I change every day. You know, aesthetically, how I'm feeling, my energy. With different people, energy changes. You know, I've turned into more of a feminine person with certain people, but I've turned in mostly more into a masculine person with other connections. In certain rooms, I channel my masculinity. In other rooms, I channel my femininity.
Yes.
That's all cool. And that's all energy and aesthetic. But at the end of the day, limiting yourself as a complex, layered human being, it's, to me personally, this might not be for everyone, but it's doing myself a disservice because I'm not one thing. I'm like a lot of things and nothing and everything at the same time and like all that's in between. And to just try to say that I'm one thing, it just feels one-dimensional, and we're not one-dimensional people. You know?
Oh, I couldn't relate to you more.
Yeah.
There's a reason I called my show what it's called.
Yeah.
I've been masculine presenting for, how old am I? 12 years? Throughout that entire time, people have expected me to be more masculine and more aggressive than I actually am. I'm a very sensitive person. And I had always been told for my entire life, you're too sensitive. And people thought of it as a weakness. So the reason I called my show this is I'm trying to flip it on its head.
Yeah,
It's a superpower.
I could spiral about this right now because even just the term, if we really want to talk about labels, even just the term masc shouldn't necessarily mean man.
It shouldn't mean
and
man.
even just the term femme shouldn't necessarily mean or like womanly or like whatever. None of it makes sense. It's actually all contradictory because I think, at least where I'm understanding it, and you know, people can come for me if I'm wrong, but masc is just an energy or an aesthetic, and so is femme, or so is, you know, whatever all the other labels are. It's just,
it's all, to me, outward aesthetic.
yeah.
I don't know if energy really comes into play in terms of those labels.
Yeah. I think I'm very confused. And I want to just reiterate that I identify as, well, with confused about these topics because look, I'm not an expert. So if I'm wrong and there's something that I'm missing, I understand and I apologize. But yeah, I've just never personally identified with the need to identify. I just feel like we could all be, I mean, maybe that's the actor in me. I don't know. Because I'm always like being a chameleon, you know, like I can, maybe that's the problem or I don't know.
I don't think it's a problem.
I think I'm confused now.
I think it's just a thing.
Stop. You're talking. I get scared because of people. They're so mean.
I know. People are awful.
When I talk about these things, I'm not saying I'm talking about it in like an expert way. I'm just genuinely venting. I'm confused. And I think a lot of people are confused.
I think a lot of people are confused too because we have overcomplicated all of the labels within our own community.
Yeah. And again, more labels the better. You know, I'm a writer. More adjectives the better to describe something. That's awesome. But just don't put someone there and expect them to stay there.
Yes.
Let people do what they need to do. Let people evolve. Let people change their minds. Let people wake up and be one thing at 9 a.m. and then by 11 p.m. they're somebody totally different, because that is the human experience. And to limit yourself is crazy.
Yeah.
To limit someone else is crazy. And to liberate yourself is to liberate others. And so hopefully we can evolve all together.
That was beautifully said.
Thanks.
Thank you. What is your viewpoint on the intersection of artistry and queerness?
Ooh, I think that goes hand in hand with what I was saying earlier, where it's like, I'm so comfortable in my queerness now that I don't even need to prove that I'm queer. Everything I do is gonna be, the queerness is just gonna bleed into it, right? And so everything I write, every take on a character that I probably have a take on, it's gonna come from somewhere in me. So therefore there's gonna be like a queer aspect to it, even if it's not on the nose or like super visible, which is cool. You know, it's like it's like seasoning.
Yeah. It's like sauce on.
Yeah. But some salt and pepper. What I will say about that is I do think it was really cool as an actor. I felt like the industry kind of saw me before I figured out a lot of things about myself, about the way I like present or the things I was hiding. I had like this audition for a film, and I auditioned because I'm so open, right? Like I was in my more of my feminine at the time, and like I auditioned for both roles. There was a lesbian couple, and I auditioned for the feminine one and I auditioned for the masculine one. And at the time I had long hair. I would get told that I read more masculine, but I also would get told I read feminine. I don't know, I was just like, I'm open. And they had like asked me, would you be interested in like cutting your hair for this? And it was such a cool moment because they kind of read you to filth in casting, like they do. They just like throw things at you like, well, you can't play this because you're not attractive enough, or you can play this, but you can't play this because you're too attractive for, or you look like you would be a junkie on the street, so you can't play, they literally just like throw this stuff at you as an actor. It's really brutal, but also very interesting because you really learn how you're perceived. And like, I guess camera picks up on a lot more than I do when I look at myself in the mirror. And so it was really interesting because my queerness also evolved in the industry where I was always playing, like even when I first moved to LA, one of my first films, even before I like settled into myself and like my aesthetic, I like played the more like masculine lesbian. And I was always getting cast as lesbians even before I was out as a lesbian.
Yeah.
And then when I stepped into myself or whatever, I came in, I read for both roles and they said, we want you to cut your hair. And it was cool because I wasn't giving myself permission to cut my hair yet. Like I was like scared. And that was when I cut my hair, like for this thing. And then now I feel like so liberated. Like this is my truth, whatever that means.
Was it the length that it's at now?
Similar, yeah. And then I had someone have me shave my head for a job. I told you about the Yeezy stuff. That was crazy. Yeah. I like was working for, I'll just go ahead and say it. I don't know. I know that he is like crazy. So I'm not identifying with his belief system at all. But at the time, back in the day, I was like, scouted, like I was found in a bar by Kanye West and he's like, could you please come and model for Yeezy, and I'm also gonna shave your head. And I'm like, what is the theme here with people taking my hair away? But it was so liberating. When I did it, I felt incredible when I shaved my head. And it's just cool because like it's like decisions that I don't even know if I would have had the balls to like bring myself to, but like the industry
made you do it.
Yeah, kind of crazy.
Wow, that's so cool. Yeah. I could go on a whole tangent about perception because I talk about this all the time, the fear of perception.
Yeah.
I think people do not chase their dreams or do not chase their life's purpose because of the fear of perception and the fear of what other people
It's terrifying.
Think. It is terrifying.
Yeah.
I mean, one of my best friends, he's posting on Twitter or X, whatever, right now, and he's getting hate comment after hate comment after hate comment on his music.
Yeah.
And that was the thing that prevented him from releasing music for years. He never pursued it because he was terrified of what people would think of his music because that's his real art.
Being an artist is humiliating.
It's humiliating. You put yourself out there. And I think another thing that I wanted to touch on, this is really important, but keyboard warriors, they forget that the person behind the camera is another human being. We are a real people behind the camera.
Yeah.
We're putting ourselves out there for entertainment purposes to pursue our dreams, to make other people feel a little bit less alone. When you attack people like that, it shows a lot about who you are because that attack prevents a lot of people from pursuing what they're meant to do.
Yeah.
So going back to what you were saying on that specifically, it's interesting being in the acting industry and having the camera pick up on you and having other people critique
Pick up
you
on
in
you.
real time. Mm-hmm. You really learn how
you
you're
learn
perceived.
and not necessarily, you know, the way you're perceived maybe isn't necessarily always truth in every circumstance.
No,
but
every person is different.
Yeah, but in my circumstance, it was like perceiving things that I was hiding, which was really cool as like in a queer experience, like to also be in a time where the industry wants to pick up on this shit. Because there was a time where, you know, every woman had to fit into a box and that wouldn't be a superpower. But I'm lucky to be born into a day and age where like I got here and they wanted that out of me. They liked it. And that gave me permission to come into my truth and the things that I was hiding about myself. One of the exercises that a lot of acting studios do, and I've done it a bunch of times because they say, oh, you need to know your typecast. You need to know your lane. You need to know what you're going to be cast in so you can lean into that because the industry is already so oversaturated that you need to like know what your brand is, honestly. And that's just at face value, unfortunately, because that's what we're casting is face value. So I've done it a couple of times, but a couple of years ago, one of the first acting exercises for this little boot camp that I was in was we're all going to stand up in front of each other, in front of this class of 50 strangers. We don't know anything about each other. And you're going to stand there and stare into the audience and they're going to shout what first comes to mind. And it's sometimes brutal. I mean, I watched a guy cry. But I think liberation comes from that, or like really just looking at, okay, I have no control over how anyone's perceiving me. This isn't social media. This is like real life right in front of everyone. How are they like seeing me? Mm-hmm. And so that alone has helped me, going back to your initial question, like just evolve as like a queer person too, because I'm just listening and I'm realizing, oh, there's things that are wrong, but there's also things that I'm hiding that people are seeing.
Yes.
You know?
I don't know. There's a lot of growth that comes from those really uncomfortable situations, like what you were just saying.
Totally.
The actor's
putting yourself
exercise.
out there. Yeah.
Just constantly putting yourself out there, which is something that I'm
or just opening yourself up to get read to filth. I mean, seriously, like that's at the core. Yeah.
Again, even on social media, and you can spin it in a positive way. And I love that the industry has impacted you in this positive way as well. This is what I was going to get at before, where the fear of perception stops a lot of people from pursuing their dreams. But you can flip that around and go, well, 90% of the people watching your stuff love it.
Yeah.
They want to see more of it. They want to see more of you. And you can think about those people that you could positively impact. That's what you should put your attention on.
Totally.
Or the way that it can make you grow, the ways that it can make you feel more comfortable with yourself.
I think something that's really stuck with me, because it's so easy as like a person that auditions constantly and has meetings and with really scary people, like realizing like when a coach told me like, you need to remember that like casting is on your side. They want their job to be easier. They want you to be the solution to this hole that they're trying to fill. Or, you know, on socials, they're watching your podcast. They're on your side, I think. Sometimes there's like weird haters. But, you know, remembering that, because it's easy just to get in your head and think, oh my gosh, they want me to fail. They want me to fuck up. They want me to say the wrong thing. They want me to do the wrong thing. But usually, you know, we can trust our audience. I hope. I'd like to think so.
That's a good way of putting it, that people are really on your side for the most part.
Maybe. Yeah. I hope so. As a writer, for sure. Yeah. Like that's something I'm learning. I like finished a screenplay after like 2.5 years. And like one of the notes I got, I'm in this like writer's development group. And he was like, you know, you can trust your audience. They're smarter than you think they are. Like you don't need to say that. They will know that. And I'm like, whoa, that's crazy. It's cool to like connect with the perception side of it and realize that like they're gonna see what needs to be seen, and the people that are supposed to get it will get it.
Yeah, I've heard that too. Your audience is a lot more intelligent than you think it is.
Yep.
So you don't have to spell it all out.
Yeah.
If you could pinpoint it, what is the thing that holds you back?
Nothing. No.
That's great.
But this is new. In this state that I'm currently in the last like 2 years, this year specifically, I'm being so aggressive. Like I'm ready to just be like, no, it's mine to take. I earned it. I'm here, not going anywhere. There has been times, and there's still times probably, where I experience imposter syndrome, being at tables with really people that I am inspired by and thinking, oh my God, I don't belong here. They're gonna know. They're gonna know. I'm invited there. I do belong there. And taking what's yours and just like soaking that up. I'm also like, side note, but I'm like a big believer in playing dumb. I used to think I had to prove, admit, say no, like, and then I stopped. It was way less exhausting. And that was another humbling experience, like in LA, where I just started allowing myself to be perceived as maybe someone that doesn't know what's going on or someone that's not really taking anything in. And then like, it's really cool to kind of learn who you are and know that all those years you were watching, you were observing, you were taking it all in, you did have a lot to say and you didn't say it. And then just being really aggressive and being like, hey guys, watch this. You know?
Yeah.
Like I do know I sat really quiet in a lot of rooms that I probably shouldn't have sat quiet in, but just it wasn't my place at the time to speak or to share my idea or whatever it was creatively at the time. I'm at this place where I'm like, no, now I'm ready to be like, oh, I was listening and I was watching and I was learning and I'm ready to show you.
Yeah. It goes back to that LA is a 10-year town.
Yeah.
You could be a rising star. And little do people know that you've been secretly working in the background for 10, 15 years.
Yes.
It's like Chappell Roan's rise to fame.
Yeah.
She came out of the woodwork. Nobody knew that this girl existed, but she had been working in the industry for 10 years. She had been putting herself out there consistently for 10 years.
Right.
Got dropped by 2 labels, or maybe it's just one. I don't know exactly what her story is, but the same thing with Lady Gaga. She seemed to come out of nowhere in 2009.
Yeah, and it's such a misconception. She didn't. She was working her ass off with nothing in return until
sleeping on the floor of an apartment in New York. People, the GP, they don't, when someone rises to fame, they don't realize what has been cooking in the background for years prior to that.
Exactly. With any type of success, there is a lot of work that people don't see. And it is very easy to, when you're not visible yet, it's really easy to like take the back seat and to not speak up or to not like take space. And so, yeah, that can definitely hold you back. Like there were many moments that I think I didn't blow them because it wasn't meant for me. But I look back and I'm like, damn, I really like could have taken that moment to like say what I needed to say or take that, opportunity and make something of it. But yeah, I think so much of like my 20s has just been about like gaining that confidence in my taste and myself, trusting like that my spot at the table is my spot at the table and that I'm like supposed to be there and I earned my spot there. But that comes with going back to grit. It comes with time. It comes with work.
Yeah, it comes with time and everything happens in due time too. Because I think a lot of people will think that they're behind. Everything is meant to happen exactly when it's meant to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
I wholeheartedly believe that. And I'm just now starting to get my foot in the door. The doors are just now starting to open. I've been doing this for about 2 years now.
Yeah.
I would not have been ready for this 2 years ago. Not with the mental state that I was in. I was in the midst of an ego death. I would not have been ready for this. But all of that is to say that if you feel like you're behind or if anyone feels like they're behind, you're not. You're exactly where you're meant to be.
You're supposed to be there.
Yeah.
And if you want to progress or change or like I said, quantum fucking leap, you can right now. You can change it. If you're in hell, you don't have to stay in hell.
Yeah.
But you're not behind. You're right where you're supposed to be. And like, that's so real. It's also really empowering to disagree strongly with people. Like I used to be when I first moved here, I was so naive and like gullible and I would agree with everything because everyone knew more than me apparently.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, so I hate that. I don't agree with that. You're wrong. That's horrible.
Yeah.
I have like, developed taste and opinions, strong ones. And that's growth too, because not everyone is right about you.
No, not everyone's right about you or right about whatever idea they have. And you have every right to speak up.
Yes.
Because if you're in the room, you're supposed to be. I love that nothing holds you back now.
Today.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see.
No. Today. We'll see about
I'm feeling good today, so that's good. But I think when you turn a certain age, you start going, I guess that's why women say that 30s are like the best.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, I don't care anymore. And that's great. Like, and I care so much that I don't care.
That's a great way of putting it.
Yeah.
That's a great way of putting it.
I give more of a fuck than ever because time is, ticking away, but I don't care whose toes I step on, who I slightly maybe offend. except for all of the haters and the trolls in the comments. That still hurts my feelings.
You're still a human at the end of the day.
You're still a human being. But, you know, you stop caring. You stop giving a fuck. You stop dealing with people that are not supposed to be in your life. You start cutting people off. You start calling people out on their bullshit. You start, I don't know. What a cool Saturn return it is.
What a cool time to be alive.
Yeah. It's a good age right now. I don't know. I'm feeling good today.
Yeah,
but
good.
like I said, next,
but I'll check
next
on you
week.
tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm ever changing, not a box. But no, what's going to hold us back? What really is, you know?
I think most people get in their own way.
Yeah.
Ultimately, that's what it is. But that's why I really like your answer, because it doesn't seem like you're getting in your own way.
Nope.
Thank you, dude. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me. Congrats on everything. This has been fun.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.